Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. Today we're talking about UFC Fight Night, Uriah Hall versus Anderson Silva. Most likely Anderson Silva's last fight of his career. I don't think it's 100% official. It's supposed to be, but Anderson Silva's been saying he wants to fight again, but it's supposed to be his last fight.
Yeah, the whole thing leading up is this is his last fight, and all of a sudden he's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll fight some more.
Well, he never wanted it to be his last fight.
Yeah. Well,
Dana does, and Dana says it is.
it probably will be then, at least in the UFC. I don't know, maybe they won't cut him, but
He has another fight on his contract. He has one more.
might do one more. But either way, this card is awesome. I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about it. Khabib kind of took the shine on everything, but this card is really cool. Anderson Silva's last fight potentially, which I'm kind of sad about. Today I was thinking about it and watched some of his old fights and brought back a lot of memories, and I'm really going to miss Anderson Silva. Legend of the sport. He really changed the game. Everybody looked up to him. He just brought everything to a new level. So for it to all coming to an end, kind of sad, but cool that he's doing it against Uriah Hall, somebody that should make it a fun fight for both of them.
Yeah, Anderson probably has the best highlight reel in MMA history. And he was like you said, like an idol to a lot of the young guys. Like Israel Adesanya wouldn't be who he is without Anderson Silva, most likely. And probably the same for Uriah Hall. When he came into the UFC, a lot of people were like comparing him to him, like that kind of style. He obviously didn't live up to that whatsoever, but he does have a crazy style, throw some wild kicks and stuff. So, yeah, Anderson Silva is a guy that inspired a lot of fighters. The front kick, like a lot of guys use that, especially right after the Anderson Silva fight.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of brought that into MMA. So,
yeah, and just how evasive he was and how he was able to really put all the martial arts together. He really seemed like one of the first guys to perfect everything and bring it all together. He was able to beat wrestlers, strikers, everybody. I mean, he beat Dan Henderson, choked him out, knocked everybody else out, was able to beat Chael Sonnen after getting dominated the whole time and get that submission at the end. So he really got a lot of fans into the sport. So it seems like a lot of people are forgetting about him lately, not putting him in that greatest of all time talk, but he's definitely
easily top
in there.
five.
Yeah, for sure, top five. You can't convince me otherwise.
However you want to put GSP, Jones, beat Anderson, and Mighty Mouse, I don't really care, but he's definitely could be anywhere from probably from 1 to 5. I mean, he might be the best ever.
You could argue it for sure. But this being his last fight, obviously he's past his prime. But man, he has been losing a lot, in the last few years. But he's still looked really good. I mean, he's lost to really good fighters. He had a close fight with Michael Bisping, who went on to become the champ. He had a decently close fight compared to a lot of people to Adesanya, who's the champ now.
Yeah, he won a round against him.
Yeah, I mean, looked pretty good. He fought Daniel Cormier, and obviously, short notice, no reason they should be fighting each other, but he hurt him with one of those body kicks. So, I mean,
Beat Brunson,
which was debatable, but
he looked pretty good against Cannonier before his leg fucked up. Like, he was throwing switch kicks, and, I thought he looked pretty good before it fucked his leg up in that fight.
yeah, obviously an old injury that just kind of came back, and nothing you can do about that. So, I mean, he's still been in every fight against all these top guys. I mean, I think he still belongs in the UFC. I don't think you can say that he doesn't. I mean, you can, but
He'd still beat a lot of guys.
yeah, he still beat a lot of guys. So he's fighting Uriah Hall. I guess we'll see. This seems like it should be a winnable fight for him, but Uriah Hall is still really good. A lot of ups and downs in his career, but he looks good.
Yeah, he doesn't really fight very often. Like last year, he fought Antonio Carlos Jr. in one decision, which I remember wasn't a very good fight, I don't think. 2018, he beat Yvonne Lewis and lost to Costa, got destroyed by Costa. 2017, the only fight he had was Krzysztof Jotko, which he won, and then anything before that's kind of irrelevant at that point. So he really doesn't fight very often.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to make this fight for a really long time, like at least 3 or 4 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a really appropriate fight and good one to go out on. So I'm excited for that. I guess I'm going to say Silva, and I'm probably just being biased and hoping that he goes out on top. I don't know. But it's definitely a winnable fight for him.
Yeah, I think Silva too, because I think Uriah Hall, there's a lot of times where he just doesn't show up. Like he has a lot of talent, but he doesn't use it. He doesn't throw a lot of shots. And I think if there's anyone he's going to freeze up against, it's going to be Anderson Silva. So I think we might see Uriah Hall just kind of standing in front of Anderson, and I kind of think as good of a fight it should be. I could see this fight being pretty boring, um, but I think maybe Anderson wins it by landing a few good shots. I don't. It's hard for me to see either of these guys getting knocked out. To be honest, like I don't think Hall's gonna Anderson doesn't get knocked out. He's only been knocked out by Weidman in the UFC.
Yeah.
And Hall I don't think Anderson's gonna land anything big on Hall. I would love for Anderson to knock him out and get a good finish to end his career, but I'm gonna go with Anderson by a boring decision. That's my prediction.
Say Anderson by amazing knockout, and then he gets on his knees and cries.
And then doesn't retire.
Yeah. BJ Penn.
He wants to fight Nick Diaz or Michael Bisping, you said.
Well, he's definitely not going to fight Michael Bisping. He's probably not going to fight Nick Diaz.
Diaz maybe, but no, Diaz is trying to get back to 70, apparently. Who knows?
Well, does Uriah Hall, does he throw a lot of leg kicks at all?
No.
I honestly don't know.
I don't think so.
So
He kind of just throws wild
I'm sure
shit.
he can.
Like, he really just throws spinning shit.
But I don't know. Either way, Anderson Silva, amazing career. We'll see if this is really the end. One more thing I want to say before we go to the rest of this, though. I know we spent a lot of time on it. It is crazy, though. Anderson Silva is retiring, Cormier retired, Khabib retired, and so they're all retiring this year. I mean, those are four of the best guys to ever do it. This one seems to be hitting a little heavier since they are so active, and yeah, but that's it. All right, Bryce Mitchell and Philly.
Yeah, so I think this is the perfect fight for Bryce Mitchell to get a step up in competition. Obviously, if you don't know Bryce Mitchell, he's the Arkansas guy that just hits twisters, and he has camo shorts now. He's been begging for camo shorts. Finally got them.
Awesome.
And then Feely's a guy. He's been in the UFC for a long time. It seems like he's starting to finally get a little bit better. Like he was, I never thought he was very good, but he got some big fights every once in a while. And was like he wins some, loses some. I think he's starting to look a little bit better. In 2019, he beat Miles Jury and Shaman Moraes, and then he lost to Sadiq Yusuf, who I think is going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then he beat Charles Jourdain. So I think he's starting to finally look a little bit better after being in the UFC since 2013. Pretty decent everywhere, not great anywhere. Bryce Mitchell, on the other hand, very good on the ground. For some reason, I couldn't really think about how good his striking is. Maybe just because he's never there. Like we haven't really seen his striking. But when he fought Charles Rosa, who's a black belt, he dominated him on the ground, like embarrassed him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is like the perfect fight to see where Bryce Mitchell's really at. And I think he's going to find a way to get it to the ground. I think, if he can do that to Charles Rosa, who's probably better on the ground than Feely, I think he'll be able to do that to him too.
Yeah. Yeah, you said a lot of the same stuff I was thinking, except I always thought Feely's pretty good. I mean, he beats good guys. He always has good fights. But I'm definitely going with Bryce Mitchell here. Really, a lot of these fights I looked at, I was like, a lot of these guys have a lot of momentum right now. And he's one of them. He's been looking great. He's getting his camo shorts, getting them hyped up. He's been looking amazing. I'm definitely going with Mitchell. I think maybe he'll try to get it to the ground and get that submission. But he's pretty well-rounded. This should be a good fight. It could be a close one. Feely definitely has a shot here, but I'm going to go with Mitchell.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take Mitchell by decision just because, I don't know. I think Bryce Mitchell might just keep going for twisters.
He's relentless.
And not getting them. And Feely's super tough, so I think he's going to be kind of hard to finish. So I'll probably go with Mitchell by decision in that one.
All right. Next one, I hate even talking about this guy. I'm sick of it. Greg Hardy fighting Maurice Green. I mean, I hope Maurice Green beats him. I'm really sick of talking about Greg Hardy, and I'm really sick of him winning. So.
Yeah, Maurice Green, he's not bad. He's big, long dude. I thought he was going to be really good when he got in the UFC, and he just wasn't. Like, he got dominated by Olenek. And I remember, thinking that Green was going to beat him because he's so long, and I thought it'd be hard to get to the ground. Wasn't the case. And then he did beat Gian Vellante, who was fat as fuck and should not have been fighting heavyweight, and it was not a very good fight. Greg Hardy actually is not bad.
He's been looking pretty good.
He's actually pretty good. Extremely athletic. That's one thing I've learned from being involved in wrestling for so long, wrestling and coaching. If you can get an athletic heavyweight, they can be good without really even knowing a whole lot of what they're doing. And that's kind of Greg Hardy in the UFC. He's just super athletic, so he can move well and he hits hard. and that's kind of all you need at heavyweight unless you fight the top guys. So I think unless he fights like a really good guy, he's probably going to win. Like, he didn't look that bad against Volkov, so
I think Greg Hardy's going to win this fight.
I do too.
I just don't want to say it.
He's not bad. I'll give him a finish just because I went decision the last two, I guess. I could see it being a decision too.
Yeah.
Green's, he's okay. He's not bad. It could be a tough fight for Greg Hardy.
Yeah, I mean and also it's heavyweight, so anything can happen. But I mean, he's been looking alright.
I don't see Greg Hardy getting knocked out by very many people though.
Probably not by Maurice Green.
He doesn't really get hit like on the chin that much.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. All right, Kevin Holland and Muradov.
Yeah, Makhmed Muradov.
Yeah. Kevin Holland, also another guy with a lot of momentum right now. He just fought Darren Stewart not too long ago. Won that decision, good fight. Everybody's kind of excited for that one. I don't know. I feel like he's been looking like a beast, and I'm going with him basically based off of momentum as well. And I'd probably by decision, to be honest. That's what I'm going with here. Muradov, he's 2-0 in the UFC, I think, right?
Yep.
Who does he beat?
Nobody that anybody would know. Beat Trevor Smith and Alicio de Chirico.
Yeah, a knockout and a decision. So I really don't have a whole lot to go off with him. All I know is that Kevin Holland's going to look like a beast, and I think he's going to keep it going.
Yeah, I'm going to try to pull up the odds real fast for that fight, just because, like, I struggle ever picking against the Russians because they always win. But Kevin Holland has looked really good lately. I think he's on a 3-fight win streak. Like you said, he beat Darren Stewart. I think he's won like 5 of his last 6, maybe. So he's getting up there. He's probably getting kind of close to being ranked. But I don't know a lot about this Russian dude. But it's very hard for me to ever pick against the Russians. So I'm going to try to look at the odds for this really quick.
Kevin Holland's coming off a decision over Darren Stewart. Before that, he knocked out Buckley. He knocked out Anthony Hernandez. Lost to Brendan Smith. Brendan Smith beat DeChirico and beat Mearshart.
Well, as of now,
Yeah.
that's the only fight not on FanDuel. So maybe that fight's not happening now.
I'm pretty sure it's still happening, but
Well, this UFC thing is wrong a lot. So that
Yeah.
fight, I don't know. I don't see any odds for it. But I'm going to go with Kevin Holland.
yeah, if the fight happens, definitely Kevin
It's
Holland.
like the first time I've ever picked against a Russian. I wouldn't say definitely. Like, I don't know who's going to win that fight. But
All right, and then next,
Bobby Green, a guy who has been doing well for me in parlays lately. Bobby Green's a fucking beast. Been in the UFC forever. This is the best he's ever looked.
yeah,
A guy that really was held back by horrible decisions time and time again in his career. Like, there was a time for like 3 years where if Bobby Green went to a decision, it didn't matter if he won the fight or not, he was losing. Like, the dude couldn't fucking buy a decision to save his life. Like, 2020, he beat Alan Patrick, he beat Lando Venata, he beat Clay Guida. 2019, he lost to Trinaldo, which I think I remember may have been a bad decision. He lost to Drakkar Klose in a decision that I'm pretty sure was a bad decision. So, like, he could very well be on like a 7-5 win streak right now. His boxing has always been really good. His wrestling is super underrated. He was a D1 wrestler at Missouri, I'm pretty sure. Never uses his wrestling. The one thing about him that pisses me off is he tries to shoulder roll all punches all the time, and that doesn't work in MMA because the gloves are too small, but he always tries it, and it never works. And then Thiago Moises, guy that I don't know a whole lot about. I don't think he has much UFC experience. He beat Kurt Holloway. He lost to Damir Ismagulov, and he beat Michael Johnson by submission, which I do remember that. Don't know a whole lot about that guy, but I'm going to go with Bobby Green.
yeah. No, Bobby Green, he's been making the most out of his COVID lockdown. He has been fighting a lot lately, and he's been looking great. And I feel like the UFC is, they've been rewarding him. They've been giving him his fights. They've been giving him some shine, and he's been looking great. He's relentless. He's well-rounded. He kind of covered it all. I'm definitely going with Bobby Green. I'd be surprised if he lost this fight. And then after this, maybe he'll get a little more of a bigger name. I think all these guys that are fighting so often right now, I think the UFC really like them, and they're going to try to reward them. Casey Kenny, been fighting a lot, looking great. Should be getting a step up in competition here, I think. Obviously, Kumquat, and
Shemaev.
a few other guys.
Kazma Shemaev.
Real quick though, Kevin Holland, when I go to UFC.com, it says Kevin Holland versus Charlie Ontiveros, and then when I click it, it says Kevin Holland versus Muradov. So
UFC does a great job with their website.
I bet Muradov's out. That's what it seems like. I don't know. I didn't look at it.
If he's out, I'm definitely taking Kevin Holland.
I'm taking Kevin Holland either way. So just don't even worry about it.
He's gonna win. It's a lock.
Yeah. So yeah, Bobby Green. Do we agree on everything? Bobby Green, Kevin Holland, Greg Hardy, Bryce Mitchell, Silva.
Yeah, they're all fights that could be close.
Yeah, these are all really. The matchmakers did great with this card. I'm more excited for this card as a whole, maybe for last weekend.
You're not more excited for this fight than this card than last week's card.
Well, that last week's card's over, so.
Yeah, no, you're crazy for saying that.
I only watched 3 of the fights on last week's card. So.
Those 3 fights were all way better than any of these fights.
All right.
Robert Whitaker and Jared Cannonier.
That's cool. I watched that one. That was a good one. All right. What else? Khabib retired.
Kind of.
I bet he's retired. I don't think he's coming back. He said, I didn't see that either. What did Dana actually say?
Dana said that he's been talking to Khabib and he thinks he's going to try to get 30-0. And that Khabib was just really emotional that night and shit.
I don't know. He's going to have to talk to his mom. Like, seriously, I feel like that's what he's going to go off of. I think he's going to talk to his mom. You like that one?
Maybe.
I think he's going to talk to his mom, and
that's good.
If she says one more, it's okay. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. We didn't really get to talk about it because we recorded this so late, but that retirement was awesome. Like, perfect fight by Khabib.
I hope he stays retired. Unless he gets the GSP fight.
Yeah, that's really all I want to see. I don't want to see him fight Conor again. Unless, like, he wants to stick around and fight for a long time. But if he just wants to do one more fight, I want to see him fight GSP.
I want him to be gone for the lightweight division because I think the lightweight division is way more fun without him. It's like none of these guys can beat him. But now we got Conor, Gaethje, Chandler, Ferguson, Poirier, Charles Oliveira's looking really good. Hooker's a beast. Like, all these guys are going to be competing, and there's, like, actually fresh matchups. Like, Poirier hasn't fought a lot of these guys. Ferguson hasn't fought a lot of these guys. Conor hasn't fought any of these guys. Gaethje hasn't fought these guys. So, like, there's a lot of really good fights and guys that could be competing for the belt. With Khabib, like, he's so much better than all of them. It's not even close. He smoked Conor, smoked Gaethje, smoked Poirier. Like, the only other guy that's could be good is Ferguson, but after watching this weekend, I don't think that'd be a very good fight.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I mean, yeah, the top 3 guys right now could be finished with rear naked choke, in the triangle. But so yeah, I mean, it's kind of gonna be like when Jones isn't around the light heavyweight division. It's kind of be like who's second best. You know what I mean? But I hope all those guys fight. I hope they get all those matchups set up and they start getting active and we figure it out because that weight class is stacked. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Conor's going to win the belt again.
If they do Dustin versus Conor, we've already kind of said we think Conor will beat Dustin.
I kind of think he'll beat all those guys.
I saw something saying that they don't think that's going to be for the belt, but
I think they should do a little tournament.
A tournament would be awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the UFC would love that.
Just like a 4-man tournament.
Yeah, that's fine.
Have Conor versus Poirier, and on the same card have like Tony versus Chandler, or Gaethje versus Chandler, or Tony versus Gaethje 2, something.
Well, maybe they're saying that that's not going to be for the belt because they're trying to convince Khabib to stay. That might be it.
Yeah, but fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, he's beat everybody and they can't really do Tony versus Khabib for the belt right now because Tony just got whooped. So
I don't think that would even, like, I thought it might be okay before, but I actually think Khabib could probably take Tony down and submit him. Like, this was the first time we saw him actually really try.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was, like, so easy.
It was insanely easy. Like, it looked like he was rolling with somebody that had no idea what they were doing. And it was Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like, yeah, he was so aggressive with that, it made me really wonder, like, what he could do if he just went out there and did that.
And it makes you realize how good Conor is on the ground. Because Conor really held him off, like, on the ground. Khabib didn't do a whole lot to him, except the second round. He was smoking him, but...
And the fact that Khabib really said that he was going to go for an armbar and he had it, but he was like, I don't want to hurt him in front of his parents. I'll switch to this fucking triangle. That's insane to have that much, like, control in a fight.
Yeah.
Against somebody like Justin Gaethje. It's so crazy.
Yeah, he might be the best. That's probably for another podcast, talking about who the GOAT might be, but...
Yeah, because I was about to go off about it, but...
Yeah, that's probably a different podcast. But, yeah, shout out Big Heads Media, putting us on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. Follow us on Twitter, @Rivalry MMA. And we will see you guys.
But also, shout out to combatworldnews.com also, because they're putting our podcast on their stuff now, too.
Yeah, shout out to them. All right.
And my bookie.
Yeah, and my bookie. Use Cold Corner. You'll get something.
You get a little present.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.